I love your product, man, but this ain't gonna work out.
No? Okay.
I'm gonna buy all your shit though, I promise. All right? And everybody listening, go buy his shit, all right?
Thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it.
With 3 contestants down and no deal to be made, will John find his next big business venture? Stay tuned to the final episode to see who becomes John Cerasani's new partner.
All right, guys, that was the final closing moments of episode 7. We are now going to review episode 8. This is not live. This is pre-recorded episode. And like I said in the last one, I was out of town when these things dropped, and I had recorded them, and the whole audio got corrupted and messed up when I got back home. So I have to do it all over again. So we're going to pop back over. We're popping over to episode 8.
On this final episode of The Partner, after scouring through hundreds of casting submissions, then choosing a few dozen entrepreneurs to meet John in person, only 6 made it to the finals. But in the previous episode, 3 contestants fell short of securing the deal with John. So will John walk away with no partners?
Shocker, if you didn't see the last review, I did not make it to the final round. He did not choose me as a partner, but that's all good. Make sure you watch my last video. It's going to go in depth about our meeting in his home. It's going to give you a huge breakdown on John. I'm not going to get that crazy in this one because I don't need to. Go back to episode 7. I'll give you my full perspective on John as a person, a businessman, negotiator, and just a customer of mine, you know, because at the end of the day, he was all those things to me. And obviously a friend, you know. We still talk. Wish you the best. And can't forget a great father. I think he is doing a great job being a single dad, coming from the perspective of being raised by a single parent. You know, the kids, you couldn't have it any better to have a dad like John. So let's see what happens here at the final episode. I already know who won, so let's show you guys.
Or will he strike gold with the final 3 entrepreneurs? Let's find out.
Got the Coca-Cola. That could be nonstop nutrition, baby. We could be blowing up, dude. What's Coke paying you?
Left that big job in my 20s to become an entrepreneur. Everyone said I would fail, but I got winner in my core. So my company to pay. When I went up 2,000%, 2,000%.
Very nice house. Very nice backyard. Very cool inside with all the autographs, memorabilia, everything he's acquired over the years. Definitely, like, this guy is the real deal, like I've said before. You know, a lot of these gurus with their Lamborghinis out front of the mansions, that shit's rented, man. That shit is rented, you know. This is not that situation, okay? Lots of well-known people writing messages to John because they're good friends, right? Lots of sentimental value all over his house. I mean, you could tell the guy has been around the block.
Matthew Candle.
Hello.
Buddy, after all these years, man, I didn't know what I was going to get out of doing this show, buddy, but at the very least, I got to reunite with an old friend of mine. If it's nothing else, pal.
You just done us both well.
Great, man. A full head of hair. Full head of hair and everything, brother. So listen, when we texted yesterday, I want to say that you had said something along the lines of, correct me if I'm wrong, did you say 100 grand, 10%, or what did you say?
100 grand, 5%.
5% of the company for $100,000 equity investment.
Correct.
Okay. And then you had offered 10% for 250. Now you understand those two numbers aren't proportionate, right?
I do.
Okay. What was your train of thought with that?
I looked at what the gauge of what we were going to do for the very first year, and I'm looking at having a 40 to a 50% increase. Second year with marketing, advertising, growth expansion, I was looking at doing 250 or 2,500,000. So when you looked at the increase, I took the 1 million, 5%.
Yep.
2.5 million, 10%.
So what's awesome is that you had an answer for that, and I like that's a pretty good. It's a pretty good answer. What you leave it, and just for everybody listening to just be clear here, Matt had texted me $100,000 equity investment from me for 5% of the company. But if I put in 250 grand, which is more than double, I would only get double the equity of 10%. And your answer just now is actually genius. Well, because with the 250, I'm going to do more with it.
Yes,
But it's my 250.
it is. But if you also keep in mind,
Wait a second. If you watch my last episode, he got a little aggravated at the question I asked him. Now this is like almost insulting. It's like the math doesn't fucking add up. It's like I need an answer on why I would invest more than double for not double the equity. I mean, what? Hit me.
the 2.5 million was only the second year. That is
Okay.
not where I saw the company going.
Okay.
I saw in the next 5 years the company doing 5 million
Because of
Now,
this investment?
because of this investment.
All right.
So if we're looking at a 5% or a 10%, you look at your 10% at $2.5 million.
Right.
There's 250,000. You recoup your investment in 2 years.
Let's talk about that. So wait.
Let's talk about this real second. All I gotta say is that like projections are, that's all they are. All right. You say you're gonna do 250 next year, 2.5 million next year because you're getting a $250,000 investment. I mean, this is all talk. All you can promise to do is wake up every single day, hang as many blinds, sell as many blinds as possible, and unless you know what, that you have a digital product nowadays, okay? A product that you create one time and you can resell it over and over, where your cost of replication is basically zero, okay? It is extremely hard to put these projections saying I'm gonna be doing 5 million 5 years from now. You don't know what blinds are gonna cost 5 years from now. Shit, the minimum wage could be double if the wrong person gets elected next year. Like, you don't know what your labor costs are gonna be in 5 years. It's a stretch to start talking big numbers like that. That's not what I was doing, okay? My plan on paper was talking about numbers of bottles sold, okay? It wasn't revenue generated. It was the number one product that we sell and how many bottles we can do more and more each week with a influencer, with an ambassador like John coming on board. So, you know, John don't sell blinds. I don't know how he fits in.
So 563,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're operating at a, let's call it 35% margin.
I'd say so.
Okay. I'm going to just call it, let's call it 180 grand profit on 563. It sounds like it was a little different than that, but
Yes.
okay. And you're saying we could grow this 563 to what?
563 in the first year, I wanted to bring it up to 1 million.
Okay. So then that million
Double the first
then
year.
turns that 35% profit. So that 180 grand turns into 350 grand
Right around there.
profit. Okay. And that's year one or year two?
That's year one.
Okay.
If you do double in business, if you go from 500,000 in revenue to 1 million, your profit margins should be more than double, okay? Once you're doing bigger scale of business, when you're selling more, when you're buying more material, when your labor costs are down, for example, because you bought a bigger juicer and business just, you know, your labor is fast, your profits are going to be more than double, okay? So that doesn't make sense to me.
And what about year two?
Year two was the 2.5 million.
So year two,
That's where I'm being aggressive.
Okay.
I have
Extremely.
The company has sustained growth, or it's been in business for 14 years.
okay.
It has.
Okay.
I started off my first
Okay.
year.
14 years is fantastic, but only 500 grand a year, 14 years in business? I don't know. What makes you think that you're going to 10x in the next 5 years? Damn.
I probably made 100,000, but you have to remember that was in 2009, right after the market had tanked. I was still able to work 7 days a week doing what I did,
Uh-huh.
and that was also me alone
Yeah.
doing everything.
Okay, so here's how this math works, all right?
Yes.
So you're at 180 grand profit right now,
Mhm.
right? If it stayed the same, and I have 10% equity,
Yes.
I get $18,000. All right. If year one you go up to 350 grand,
Okay.
with 10% equity, I'll get 35 grand. Year two, if you did the 2.5 million, like you said, which by the way is pretty freaking aggressive, by the
It
way.
is.
But let's say you did.
It
You
is.
don't make it, but you know, if you don't set lofty goals, how are you going to achieve
I
them?
love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. You're saying all the right things.
2,000%, baby.
You're saying all the right things, but at the end of the day, you can't be all talk. You can't do $500,000 consistently for 14 years and then just say, oh, because I have this millionaire investor across the table, I'm just going to tell him what he wants to hear. I'm going to go from $500,000, a consistent, profitable business, so I'm doing well, and I'm going to 10x it in 2 years because I have you as an investor. I mean, whatever John's bringing, the investment money, he's making in profit year over year. I mean, there's like $180,000 in profit. It's a lot of profit. And he's only willing to give John $18,000 of it. Is John going to do that much work? I don't know.
2,000%.
Well, this literally would be a 400% 2 year. Which by the way, maybe.
So 400% in 2 years. That's the increase in business. That's crazy. And then he wants to go from 500,000 to 5 million in 5 years. So a 10x. I mean, I could have walked in there and told John the same shit. There's no way John's giving this guy money.
You get the 4 year two. Okay. So here's why I was, let's, for lack of a better word, let's say troubled going, less optimistic going into this meeting than when I was when we left Chicago Prime.
Less optimistic.
Only because his numbers aren't going to make sense. Because here's the way it would work. Year two, if you did exactly what you said, everything went great. You grew 400%. I like it. 850 grand would be the profit on 2.5 million with a 35% margin, roughly. I didn't get my calculator out. Roughly.
850 grand.
I would only be getting, Matthew,
85
as a 10% equity holder, 85 grand dividend. Feel me?
I do.
You know. So
I
is that
do.
how you meant to present it?
No, it isn't, but it does make sense.
Okay.
For who, Matthew? Who does it make sense for? The guy making 770,000 or the guy making 85,000?
So
the guy making 85,000 who invested all the money in order to get your business to the 5 million.
But I thought you were in this for the long haul.
Well, maybe, but just the valuation of the numbers just don't make.
You gotta love how he said that with such a straight face. But I thought you were in this for the long haul, John.
Like as an investor, you still wouldn't. So let me ask you this. Are you more concerned with keeping the percentage?
That's a long ass haul. If dude's getting 10, you're getting 90, and there's that much profit. The thing that it would work with me is because the profit margins aren't that great. I don't know how you make damn near 200,000 profit when your business only generates 500,000 in revenue. That's crazy fucking profit margins. It's probably buying China-made materials and hanging them up with, immigrant illegal work. I don't know what's going on, you know what I mean? But keep doing it. Like, why are you even looking to partner up with people if you're making 180,000 a year clean? No partners, no negotiation, don't have to run anything by anybody. Save your money for a few years, and then whatever you want John to bring to the table with that investment, invest it yourself. What the fuck is going on here right here?
Where you're not giving up too much of your company. Is that more valuable to you, or is the 250 grand more valuable to you? Which one's more important to you?
It's a very good question. I'd probably say you put me on the spot. I'll be honest with you, the 250,000 isn't a huge thing for me. It's the percentage of the company.
Okay. If you're more concerned with not giving up too much of the company, brother, I mean, I would do something if you wanted to keep it under 10%. I would do something, Matthew, where I come on with a line of credit of some sort, where I give you working capital.
Okay.
And strategically, we use that money.
So that's really interesting because that's the first idea he hit me with. And I mean, I thought that I guess he was just offering to put the money right in this dude's pocket. But not really, because the dude needs the money to do more marketing and advertising to sell more window treatments. You know what I mean? So the money's not going right into his pocket. I don't know. It's very business negotiation is not easy peasy. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
As we see fit.
Okay.
Simultaneous to me promoting you on my social media, helping you hit those target audiences. Because what the first thing I asked you out there, the part that really excites me is that you have the infrastructure right now to grow this another 250 grand,
yes,
which is going to be roughly an additional 100 grand of profit. So if we're able to do that without spending capital, just from 1 + 1 now equals.
How will you do that without spending capital? Because his target audience is not people hanging window treatments in their home. His target audience is all around the world, and I don't think you're shipping these window treatments all around the world. His audience is all around the world, and it's people gambling. Okay, it's people up late at night gambling, eating fast foods, people that like sexy women, okay, with big boobs, and the nightlife. That's his audience. That's the people that are watching him, and entrepreneurs. Okay, you got the occasional, civil service worker, some police officers and stuff like that who really respect him. But at the end of the day, a couple entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, it's nightlife, entertainment people who like to talk shit, people who like controversy, people who like to argue. Okay, it's not people that are buying their first homes, putting up window treatments. Okay, that's not 400,000 of his followers. I can promise you that this kind of product is not fit for John Cerasani. He needs a product he could put in a box and ship anywhere.
3. That's something.
All right.
You are making money right now, though. You are making money. So I'm not going to put words into your mouth, but let's say of that 160-ish, 60 grand of it. I'm just going to guess here. You got 60 grand of it as a salary, 100 grand of it, let's say, as profit. If I owned 10% of the company, it would then be 90,000. You would still get your 60 grand salary, but it'll be 90,000 and 10,000. Now the idea would be that we grow that 100 grand to a larger number,
Right.
The challenge becomes, is the things we put in place going to do that or not? And as a business owner, before you give up equity in your company, that's what you should be asking yourself. You're making what you're making. It's
My question is, he doesn't want to give up more equity, but why not? Your profit margins are so fucking high. This doesn't make sense to me. Okay, if you're gonna make, if like John just said, there's $100,000 profit at the end of the year for the business. John's only getting 10. He's getting another 90 on top of his 60, on top of all the expenses paid. You can afford to give up more percentage. It doesn't make any sense to me right now, okay? There's plenty of profit at the end of the day. Your profit margins are right on point, and you can give up more percentage. That does what he doesn't want to do. Doesn't make any sense. Now, he also said that the money isn't really that important. He's like, the 250 is really not that important. So, what is your focus? What do you want? You have plenty of profit at the end of the year. You don't want to give up any more percentage. I'm really confused. I wonder how this is going to end.
Sounds like it's been pretty even. You said you had the 1 year a little bit higher, but it's not like it's ever gone 2 billion. You know what I mean?
No, it has not.
So under your current structure, you would be you wouldn't be risking, the whole thing. You would be risking 10% of the profit piece, which is outside of your salary. So you'd only be risking really 10 grand. So the bet would be, is what John brings to the table, is 90% of that going to take up the 10 grand that you would be giving up in the current environment? All right.
Okay.
That's what I would be calculating on your end.
So, and to me, besides the marketing, are you going to be able to help me with the business guidance, things of that nature?
So I think that's what we'd have to do.
Wait a second. You've been in business for 14 years, man. How the hell do you need guidance? You're not running a company with 80 employees yet. Do you know what I mean? And you probably won't. You're just hanging window treatments. I mean, unless you scale this thing out the water. But you've been in business for 14 years. It's like you are where you are. You might get a little bigger. You might fucking get a little smaller. But you need business guidance now?
First of all, if I own 10% of the company, I would have skin in the game here. That's enough for me, especially with you being local and stuff. I'm not going to be able to work 40 hours a week on this with you.
Really? You're kidding.
Teach you to install. Teach me to install.
Oh my God.
I think that was a joke.
I thought you were going to be at the shop.
Yeah. But I think, I think if you wanted to put me on your board, or at least we call it an advisory board, where we formally get together on a regular basis, I think for sure. Because what I'd like to do, Matthew, is not come in on this to make 10% of the existing 100 grand. I'd like to turn it into a few million profit a year.
Okay.
And then potentially we sell the freaking company one day.
Okay.
If it made sense. Hunter Douglas? Do they come and buy out companies like yours? I don't know. I'd be doing that research and find out that, hey, if we ever want to sell this company, if we could get the profit to 800 grand a year, we could sell this.
Well, that's another thing I talked about John in my perspective, right? And he cut all these parts out in the previous episodes. But people like me have started these type of businesses selling juice out of their trunk, juice out of their gym bag, and big name, big brands have come in and bought the small guy out time and time again. So I know there's an exit strategy for my product. I know that my products, there's products that were like mine at once and then they ended up in Starbucks basically. So, it's about getting in front of the right people. That's what John provides. Man, John, I don't know what you were thinking, dude. Why are you talking to this guy for so long?
Thing for $4 million. It's good to have that knowledge that stuff like that exists.
Understood.
You know what I mean? As far as the show is concerned, right this moment, I think we want to walk away from the table with a deal in principle.
Okay.
And we're not necessarily married to it. Okay?
Understood.
Especially, I've said this to everybody today, but especially with this, because a couple of these concepts are new to you too.
Understood.
So, and
Yes, it is.
yeah. And also, I want to make sure your freaking product's good, dude. I want to get 3-day blinds out here. Put your product in here. Let me make sure I can put my name on it, all right? Are you laughing at 3-day blinds?
I'm not worried about that. That's fine.
Okay. Listen, man. I'm gonna present it to you one more time. Let me know if we have a deal in principle.
What is 3-day
And then
blinds?
again, you're gonna be able to do your own diligence after the fact, where we sign the dotted line. All right.
All right.
But what I would be bringing to the table to you is help you grow the damn company. I'm not coming on this thing just saying, hey, look at me, I'm part of this thing that Matthew already built. It would be to definitely help you grow.
Excellent.
Right? You would still take your salary would come as an expense.
Okay.
Before we looked at profit. So whatever the salary is, we used the example of 60 grand.
Yeah.
The leftover profit,
Okay.
starting on a move forward basis, would be 90-10. So I don't
Okay.
have 10% of the company. I'm gonna help promote your brand. I'm gonna be help you from a.
I can tell you just from experience and by this guy's attitude, he's probably not taking a salary from his business yet. He's probably paying his employees cash, under the table. And he's probably just keeping the remainder of profits in his pocket at the end of the year. Probably. That's why he needs John for some business, some guidance, advice, because a lot of people don't understand the first thing about partnership when you get into it, right? How do you get paid for your time? And then what do you split with the partner? Because, this is... And then if the partner doesn't want to be a partner anymore, how do you get your damn business back that you've been growing for 14 years? That's a question you have to ask. Standard business negotiation. Nobody should be offended by that question.
A soundboard standpoint on a regular basis. Maybe we do like bi-weekly lunches or whatever. I think my biggest value, Matthew, is going to come when we take that next leap, if we do get to that $2.5 million mark, where we start to look at real expansion and how this business runs itself without Matthew doing 90% of the shit.
So now, since I'm getting the guidance, getting the media, exposure, all of that fun stuff, which is definitely something that is needed, but there is no upfront investment. What if we were to bring it to 5%?
We could talk about it. Yeah, I think that's fine. And also, then here's the damn problem. The problem is, because you're right, man. It makes a good point. Like, I'm not going to put any fucking money in, but it's like, I don't know what I would put money in for. Like, I don't know what I would be buying right now.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I had just gone off of other shows and okay, maybe this is what,
Yeah. And maybe and the company has some value right now. So maybe, why don't we do this? Why don't we agree to this in principle? Okay. That we're going to end up from a percentage standpoint, anywhere between 5 and 10% equity to me. And our baseline is that I'm just coming in with sweat equity. However, in that 5 to 10% conversation, we could potentially open up a small investment where it would not even be invested in the company. It would be more just paying it to you to buy additional shares.
Sweat equity. It's the best kind of equity. But my question is, What are you going to do on a day-to-day basis to give him sweat equity? How are you going to promote? How are you going to market the blinds? You're going to stand in front of your window, take a selfie every day? You're going to get in other people's homes and frickin' be a peeping Tom? Oh, look how nice those blinds look. I don't think so. How do you, as a social media influencer, as a content creator, make content about blinds? How do you sell that shit? How do you sell that shit? Way easier to sell a nutritional product, a cold pressed juice, a shippable product, something that represents passion, fitness, hardworking, grit, determination, motivation. Way easier. Just saying.
Some of the company, because the company doesn't need a capital investment.
I think that sounds reasonable.
So we got a deal?
We do.
Thanks, brother.
Thank
All right,
you.
man.
John was just being nice, man. They went to high school together, all right? He wasn't going to kick him out of his house. Partner. This guy's the man. This guy deserved to win.
How you doing, Kyle?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Well, listen, man, you know, especially with a business like yours that's been around, we're going to come to a deal hopefully today in principle.
Yeah.
All right? Afterward, get lawyers involved, have the documents written and everything else. But I'd like to walk away from the table today. Okay, do we have an idea in principle of what we want this to look
100%.
like? Or are we too far off where it just doesn't make any sense?
For sure.
Okay?
For sure.
Seems like he just spilled the whole beans with this guy. Like, it just told you that he just picked him, chose him, and he won, right? Didn't it just sound like that?
So here's what I see, man. You got, you know, on one hand, you got roughly 750 grand of margin if the numbers of profit, if the numbers you told me are accurate. 25% on 3 million, you're looking at 750 grand profit. The company has been around for a while. It looks like it had a good year under you running it, but for the most part, kind of plateaued the last 10 years or so. So you're looking at what you originally told me to enhance this thing, to get, you know what I mean, to make it a $25 million operation. All right. So I think you're approaching this wisely in the sense that, hey, we're looking for strategic partners here to help enhance things, right? It doesn't sound to me. Well, let me ask you, do you need capital to expand?
So I think capital helps, but this discussion I want to have with you today was when we talk about where I'm at right now with the business, this year right now in 2024, this is going to be where there's no blockades on decisions that I want to make. Last year, there was still a little bit of that. Although I was operating the business, although I was in the backside with financials, paying people, all that, dealing with all the taxes, all this stuff, there were still blockades for Pops. He was still kind of on the fence of like, hey, making sure that you don't do this, don't do that. But this year I told him, I said, if we really want to see this thing grow in the way that I think it can, I have to have unrestricted freedom to be able to do what I want to do. And we came to terms, and that's why we have this sort of buyout strategy going on right now with the Saturn paying, giving him rights to be able to do QA and R&D, which he enjoys, and eventually pay him off so that I can become full-time owner. But that's kind of the reason why we're doing for this year.
Well, why is there R&D still happening? You guys are developing new products?
Oh, we always do. Yeah,
oh, really?
We always do. The biggest differentiator, the thing we didn't even talk about, was with our product line, the biggest reason why people know us is because we have differentiation through the IP that we have. And we're always innovating. We're always trying to find the next big thing with the instrumentation. So for us, we're always having R&D go on. How do we make things better? How do we make things, ground?
So basically, I think his dad is a dentist, been a dentist for many, many years. And then they got into the medical, dental supply selling, selling of supplies. And then obviously he's not a doctor, but he got into the sales side and he took the business over from his father. He's doing great.
I'm breaking. How do we disrupt the industry even more?
If I went to 4 people that do what you do for a living, 4 people in the industry, would they agree that your IP is a differentiator?
100%.
Okay.
And the biggest thing, again, when you talk about a dental implant manufacturer, me versus any other instrument manufacturer, when you look at this tool that you have, most, if not all of the essentials are going to be the same exact thing. There's no differentiation between this guy, and this guy. But brand awareness.
Right?
And for us, my father did a good job in understanding that that was the case with this industry. And so what he did was, hey, we got to have something differentiating ourselves, at least with the product itself.
Got it.
That's why he started developing this IP protected type products, our power line, what we call it now, to really distinguish ourselves in the marketplace.
Got it. Okay. And then, like we talked about last time, it's really the trade shows and the distributors to grow this thing.
Yeah,
right.
it's been that. And for us, we really started to focus on the online side, obviously, because that's become a lot more prevalent nowadays. And most doctors, too, they're very convenient-based.
Okay.
So they want to be able to buy things online very quickly. They'll search at Google real quick and find certain things. But, again,
do the distributors have online presence?
They do. They
Okay.
do. So they'll have websites. They'll distribute, and they'll either distribute our own product, like our own product, and that's it, or there'll be a supply company like we talked about last
You guys got 2,300 different SKUs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys cover from A to Z of anything a dental office would need?
Pretty much from instrumentation side, yes. And we're starting to partner up with a few companies inside the industry that can help support our line from instrumentation, like biologics, CBCTs, scanners, certain things, so that we can also become this one-stop shop in a sense where anybody can get whatever they need.
All right, so I'm Tom Jackson. He's a dentist in downtown Barrington here, all right? And he wants to buy all of his supplies online, okay? And he's been using a distributor's website, okay? And he says, oh, you know what? I'm gonna start using yours instead. How many things does he have to go to a second site for? Is it a huge inconvenience for him to have 2 logins then, or could he get basically everything he wants from you?
So he can just call me direct.
Okay.
That's part. You know, he
All
can
right.
call me direct and
Okay.
get situated. And I think that's the best part about being where we're at is a lot of these large corporations, yes, online, you can do that. You can still do that with our website as well, super easy.
Okay.
But it's not very difficult at all to be able to check out, get your items online if you want to, or what a lot of doctors like is the fact they can just call in and order too. So we have that personal touch that not that these other companies really have.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So, what do you see me playing a role in here?
For sure.
I have an idea of what this structure should look like.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
For sure.
But I kind of want to hear what you think first.
100%. I think the biggest thing for me out of this whole journey, kind of going into this, my biggest thing was I wanted to be able to have guidance and mentorship from you because you've been through the scale up, you've been through the exit, you know how to maximize your valuations, and you understand how that process goes. Whereas I'm young and I haven't gone through that yet.
Right.
And so for me, guidance in that front to be able to make sure we can maximize our valuation when we do exit is one big aspect.
So you are thinking about exiting?
Yes.
Okay.
One day.
Because this could be a cash cow. You get it to 20 million. You keep your 25. To keep your 25% margin.
That was the only part of the conversation too. Like, do I want to send a board? Like, do I want to like?
Well, what are the multiples right now for a company like this? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean,
or is there one?
Right now, like rule of frame, like frame, whatever. It's probably like 3x is what we're kind of thinking.
EBITDA or top line or EBITDA? It's probably EBITDA.
Probably EBITDA. Yeah. Probably EBITDA. And for me, it's like we haven't even gone down that route yet.
Okay. Why would you?
Yeah. And so,
dude, here's the thing. Hopefully, you have this problem too. Okay, you said you're 25. I started my company when I was 27. I sold it at 37 and a half. Okay, and I had huge margins. I'm talking about like 80%, where the rest of the industry is serving it. I would just do everything myself. And people said, well, you're never going to be able to grow if you do that. Bullshit, because I developed a niche. And I didn't have to hire a sales team. They were just coming to me because of my niche, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Lake Forest College, I never had a sales rep call them. They found us because Millikan University, Elmhurst College, all these other schools would work with us, and they all talk. You know what I mean? Okay. Colleges is one of those collaborative industries where they don't see each other as competitors, where the CFOs and the HR people from what you would think are competing schools will actually idea share for best practices. Yeah, so I really invaded that niche very, very well. But enough about me. Anyway,
you know, I never really realized that, but I totally feel the same way because a lot of people will tell you in the beginning, oh, you can't do it all yourself. You got to hire people. You can't grow like that. You can't scale. Bullshit. You are capable of doing so much more than you have any idea, and most people don't even, tap into their full potential. But the amount of shit that I've done in my business all alone, the amount of scaling, juices sold, customers talked to, man, they said it couldn't be done. All right, they said it couldn't be done. Obviously, you don't want to do it all for the rest of your life, but you can. If you had to, you could figure out a way. You will figure out a way once you have to.
What was interesting though, my margins were so big, so I'm sitting here making a few $1,000,000 a year, okay? Never in a million years do I think I would sell. Private equity comes in and makes an offer, all right? And I was 37 years old. And the way I looked at it was like, hey, if I sell this company, I got to work there for a few years after, and I'm going to have a non-solicitation agreement for a couple of years after that. I need to give this up, all this money I'm making, because I'm probably never going to make that much money again. It has to be enough where I could be done and retired.
100%.
Okay, and you might be in a position where you could do that, and maybe it's younger than me even, you know. But you built that company up to 20 million, bro. And if you still own the lion's share of that company, which you probably would, from what it sounds like, or does your sister own any of it or no?
No.
Okay, but you'd help her out. You'd hook her up, right? You know, so say you're sitting there making $4 million EBITDA each year. You'd have to raise your salary more than 30 grand, probably. Uncle Sam might ask questions, but you know, how do you walk away from that? The only way you walk away from that is if someone's going to give you a lump sum that says, okay, I could actually be done. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of being a business owner versus a W-2 employee.
No, 100%. And I think for me, it's like the other portion of this whole thing is we have such a we only own small portion of this marketplace, and we talk about the scale of what this can be.
Okay.
We're talking just in the U.S. alone, 200,000 doctors just in the U.S. alone. Not
Okay.
counting the millions of doctors that are international, not counting the thousands of doctors that are graduating from schools every single year.
Wow.
And we're operating at a $3 million revenue
Yeah.
marker at maybe 3,000 active customers in our customer base.
Yep.
Multiply that by, divide $200,000 by 3,000 doctors that we actually have. That's a $200 million business.
Right.
You know, just in the U.S. alone.
Yep.
Count that all in.
Yeah.
And so, kind of leading to the next thing was, for me, a big thing is awareness and access, right? For a person like you, obviously very well networked. And I understand, because I know you're hardwired all the time. It's network is everything in this world.
Right.
And for me, having John Cerasani as somebody that I know that he appreciates the relationship that we have, you know, we're good friends, you know, obviously that's hopeful.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
You know, good friends.
You're a guy I wouldn't want to associate with. I don't do business with people I wouldn't want to work with.
For sure. I appreciate that. And
Like that guy Tyler earlier. Fuck, I'm just kidding.
sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, fuck you too.
But, you know, that's a big part of what this is too, like getting access to your network, being able to get access to your platform, because right now we're kind of in that startup phase still, is what I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah.
Infrastructure was built these past years, hasn't been here.
Yep.
Now it's with a rebrand, really getting the awareness out there and really
I told you he kicked me out of his house. Make sure you catch episode 7.
getting people knowing, hey, I know for a fact this product has been proven for 20 years.
Right.
I know for a fact as soon as I get it in your hands,
Yeah.
you will dominate with this instrument.
Boom.
But the problem is that you just don't know about me yet. And that's the reason why we're hitting marketing so hard this year.
Yeah.
Doing the new
But what's the marketing though? It's business to business marketing. So like my
B2C.
yeah, a B2C too.
B2C as well, yeah. So
Well, C is the
it's
dentist.
an actress, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
So,
yeah.
so I'm just thinking to myself, and I love all that, and I could be your sounding board. I think my platforms, I got a lot of different people on my platforms paying attention, but it's not something that the masses. It's not like a juice that somebody could go buy, right?
For sure.
Right. So I'd want to have an impact. You know, if I came in as some sort of equity partner, I'd want to have, you know, make sure I earn that somehow.
100%. And I think the kind of going to the last point of what I really want
Okay.
is eventual investment is obviously the goal, right?
Okay.
And I think that would be great equity partners. But for me, when I look at the business and the stance of where it's at, I've only been fully operating with no external blockades only for 2 full months now.
Got it.
But that's where this 26.7% comes from, with having the most expenditure we've ever had in the history of the business.
Yeah.
While we're scaling up, we're still operating at 26.7%.
Yep.
You know, for me, I don't think it's fair for someone like you or any other investor coming to me saying, hey, I want to invest in you,
Right.
without proving to
Yeah.
myself and to you,
Right.
hey, Kyle Lim, the owner of Howard Gunn Group,
Yeah.
you fucking do this shit
Right.
and scale it up
Oh,
like
yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Once it's proven, then okay.
Gotcha.
Let's talk about investing.
I like that. Okay, what about in the meantime, do you think? Just stay in touch or what?
Well, for me, I still think there is equity percentages and possibilities to be able to work something out here.
Okay.
I definitely think that for us, capital is going to accelerate us.
Okay.
And, you know, what percentages, what that looks like, how we can go about that. I'm super flexible in being able to talk about that. That's something I still think would be very prevalent now.
I love what you're saying, man. This is a really good conversation. Okay. Here's what I was thinking. It sounds like we're kind of thinking the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know your EBITDA was 750 grand, if that's a real number. I'm just kidding. But no, if your EBITDA 750, and let's say that there was potential buyers, which I don't even know if that people buy companies like this or not, but let's say it was 3 times, you know, but it's a $2.2 million valuation of real money, and it doesn't matter though. You probably wouldn't sell it for that much if you could still keep that much profit. You want to grow it anyways, right?
Sure,
You know what I mean?
sure.
So what I was thinking with this, because I figured the conversation would go somewhat like this. You don't need the money, first of all. So it really becomes, if I put money in, would you be just really just buying existing shares? It's not even adding more shares to grow. It'd be more just shifting, right? And I don't think we have a good answer for that right now. I don't know. We don't know if it makes sense. You just nailed it yourself that, hey, let you keep growing this thing because maybe you suck at it and that investor just lost his money. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or it goes the other way and someone that got in there early got a huge freaking discount. So what I would like to do is, I don't know if your dad's still involved right now, but either board member or advisory board. There's two big distinctions there. Okay, board of directors is a governor of the company. Okay, whereas advisory board is just someone that you lean on that's involved, and you give that person a small percentage of equity. So I was thinking around 2.5 to 3% equity with deliverables, and maybe it gets vested over a few years, and it looks something like that in nature.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I'm getting rich off that 3% or whatever. I think my value would come in with, hey, let's talk to these investment bankers. Hey, let's talk to this private equity firm. And also just the intangible, I'm involved in this company, they're doing big things.
100%.
If nothing else, for your vanity, I'm putting you out there as an entrepreneur.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And for me, I think that's definitely a route that we can definitely consider. And I think that's something that would be honestly huge for us too, because, I want to make sure, being a business owner, it's a win-win for both sides, right?
Right.
You can't just give me free advice, give me free whatever. You can't just give me guidance just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, I always still understand that on your end, you have to have something there that's, tangible, right? And so for me, I think an advisory position is something that I think would be amazing. I think it would be a perfect fit for where we're at right now. And then once we kind of get into the weeds of things and get into that point of, okay, it's proven, we're good. John, let's start coming in. Let's bring down the hammer.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's spot on, man. I'm actually such a good friends with the guy that plays running back in the NFL, Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
And he's building this app, but it's called the Experience app and stuff. And he gets together with me and he goes, no, I'm not asking you for money, but I want you to be around it, hearing about this stuff, because we're making some big waves here. Eventually, we are going to need capital, and I want guys like you paying attention to us early on.
100%.
Okay?
100%.
It's something like this with an advisory position, because there'd be no other reason for us to stay in touch other than liking each other's Instagram posts. You know what I mean? And I think, man, from what I've seen, as little as we know each other right now, from what I've seen on the surface, I think the elevation of you personally as this up and coming entrepreneur in Chicagoland. Who knows if maybe it's not tangible to put a dollar amount on there, but it definitely don't hurt, I don't think.
For sure. And I think that for me, the beautiful part about this is not only are we talking about dental, right, in this industry and what we're doing right now, but we're also talking about ventures beyond. And so for me, although I'm young, I have a pretty decent network so far, and that's something I pride myself on. But I know that there's always other avenues of potential investment or other people that we can network through, both in spaces maybe you do already involved in or spaces that you're not involved in too. And so that opens a whole other world. Like, I don't know how many medical device companies you're invested in.
One, hopefully.
And so that just opens a whole another door to another path of things that you may not even, have invested in or looked at before. So I think that's also an advantage from that point. And that's not to say when we get down to the path of like, hey, John, like, we're dialed. We know exactly how to rinse and repeat this thing and scale this thing up to the maximum level. Like, John, let's go ahead. Let's get your equity even more. Let's get capital and let's rock and roll.
Exactly.
So I think advisory is a great great scenario. I think that'd be almost a perfect fit for what I think.
Are you thinking that percentage point makes sense?
I think that percentage point does make sense.
Okay. I feel like it makes it worth my time, and at the same time, it's not raping you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know. But so I think what we got to do from here then, man, is talk about actual deliverables
100%.
and what that vesting looks like. But I think the idea would be to go all in, and and for me, it's not even an advisory position from a early stage standpoint where you don't know if it's going to be worth shit or not. The problem is, here, John, I'll give you 2% of this company. It's a gambling app. Well, if it never sells to DraftKings one day, it's I got 2% of zero. You know what I mean? Whereas this, let's make if you're like I said, if you're at 715 EBITDA and I'm sitting there with 2 or 3% of the company. Let's quantify that moving backward.
Exactly.
And, let's think of a value and time commitment that I have
100%.
to earn the money that would be coming with those dividends.
100%.
And, I think we need to look at it as year one. Hey, this is it for year one. And if we grow and it becomes disproportionate in the future, that means the company's freaking growing and whatever we're doing together is freaking working.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Okay.
So, yeah, that sounds great, man.
Hey, I'm pumped up, man.
Yeah,
I'm pumped up.
I'm juiced.
All right.
So, yeah, man.
Did somebody say juice?
Thanks for becoming my partner.
Hey, appreciate
All right, man.
Nice job. Congratulations, Kyle. I did not think there was another guy.
Thank you, Bree. Welcome to the waterfall room.
That's incredible, John.
Listen, Scott, I've been doing some math here, and I'm just gonna kind of think out loud. I'm gonna make you an offer. You're welcome to make me a counter offer. You're welcome to tell me to go F myself, but we are at my house right now, so just so you know, buddy.
I haven't seen the basement.
All right, so here's some key points that I came up with. All right, you bought the company for $275,000 back in 2019. You were able to pay that loan back, the owner financing or whatever you worked out in 4.5 months, where it was supposed to be years. So things went the right direction. You've been reinvesting the money into the development of the place. All right. I feel like what I bring to the table is a network of entrepreneurs. I could see you being the telecommuter of choice for the John Cerasani Instagram entrepreneur 2,000% raise, including Glencrest Global, which is an early stage venture capital firm. I have a number of clients or companies I invest in under that. And I'm just out there in this space. Not that you aren't, but I feel like we're out there differently and the reach would be that much wider.
I have no idea what kind of business he is in. I didn't hear him talk about it. I forgot what this guy's passion was, whatever he's doing. I might not watch the end of it because I know Kyle won the whole thing and he's the one who's going to be partnering with John ultimately.
I feel like I could probably also help you with business development and sales. Definitely could help you with capital raise for other acquisitions in the future. You had mentioned that, and you had said that there's $850,000 to $5 million. I'm just going to go out here on a limb and guess you don't have $4 million sitting in a checking account to go write a check for. And if you do, well, it makes it better. But if you don't, I think I could help with that part of financing if that was the direction that you wanted to go. Additionally, building the company to sell. I learned a lot when I sold my company into private equity. All right. I look back knowing what I know now. Shoot, I would have done this differently the last 24 months. I would have scaled this way. Now you're already thinking ahead to that a little bit with acquisitions, increasing your overall multiple. One of the things I learned with private equity was this roll-up strategy where they're buying companies like mine for, call it 8 or 9 times, taking a bunch of us, putting it together, and then selling it to someone else for 12 times. Well, shoot, had I known that, maybe I would have tried to build that company up another 10 or 20 million prior to selling it. I'm happy with how it turned out for me, but these are the things that I learned. And now here we have a business that could potentially be sold like that I know this information going in. So that excites me, okay? What I'm thinking, Scott, as far as an offer, is that we take a step back from where you're currently at today. You haven't been pulling any money out of the company and you haven't been taking a salary, correct?
Correct.
Let's figure out where the company is at and what kind of salary Scott could get without redumping money.
Oh.
All right, guys, phase 1 of the interviews is over. We're moving on now to phase 2. Is that we take a step back from where you're currently at today. You haven't been pulling any money out of the company and you haven't been taking a salary, correct?
Correct.
Let's figure out where the company is at and what kind of salary Scott could get without redumping money into it what salary would you deserve as the operator slash CEO of the company? All right. Maybe it's 70 grand, maybe it's 300 grand, whatever that number comes out to be. Okay. Start paying you that. And then on a move forward basis, that salary is now an expense of the company. And then I come in with all the benefits that I spoke of, and we do an 80%, 20% split with you 80, me 20. I don't get a salary. Your salary is an expense of the company before that, which should be reflective of what you've already done the last 5 years.
That sounds doable.
Yeah.
It sounds like something that, obviously we have to take a look at numbers.
Yeah.
Make sure that, everything lines up. I have to kind of do a valuation of the business as it stands, and with me taking a salary out like you expressed is an expense of the company.
So that's the wild card. What you see the valuation at currently, that's the wild card. Because essentially what I would be coming in here for is being your business partner, being your sounding board, bringing these things to the table to help build it.
Absolutely.
And giving you a salary that's commensurate of what you've done. But I would also be taking a slice of that equity out. Now, if you had a number in mind where you would want me to purchase that equity, that's something we could talk about too. Did you have a number in mind with that?
Now,
Okay. I didn't think you did. And I didn't think that there was a reason really to infuse capital in the company right now either. There will be, because I'll be your business partner when we make an acquisition.
Yeah.
This is how I'm looking at the world. And I try to make fair offers. I don't want anyone to feel like they're getting ripped off here.
No, and I think it's a great starting point.
Okay.
I think you bring a ton of value. I've really enjoyed going through this process with you, listening. You and I have, from my research and my knowing you from what I know of you,
Yep.
you and I have the same business philosophies, and that was shown prior when I said, hey, listen, I'm looking to acquire, to roll up and increase the X of.
Well, and I really think, man, with what I'm doing with 2,000% raise and the podcast, everything, I'm really trying to partner with brands that I could help build. Because initially, Scott, I'll tell you right now, initially I was going to say, hey, put me on your advisory board. Let me take a small percentage.
All right, sorry, this is getting a little boring. I'm going to fast forward to the end of the episode. I don't even know what kind of business he's in, really. All I know is that Kyle won. Congrats to Kyle. And, yeah, this was a great experience. Again, John, thank you for inviting us all. Let's check out the very end.
Contact me anytime. I look forward to doing I couldn't be more equipment. Scott with the Voice over IP telecommunication company, and of course Brian Swift.
Let's see what he says. Oh, damn! He got a
partnership. That wraps up the first season of The Partner, and I'm walking away with 4 new associates.
4.
Matthew with the motorized window shades. Kyle with the dental equipment. Scott with the Voice over IP telecommunication company. And of course, Brian Swift, partnering with him on his nonprofit.
3 businesses.
I gotta tell you, I didn't know what to expect walking into this. I couldn't be more happy with the 4 partners I chose. Also couldn't be happier with the 20 people that I brought in person. I feel like I got 20 new people in my network. All of them, I believe, had positive experiences and could contact me anytime. I look forward to doing a season 2. Who knows? Maybe we'll be outside of Chicago next time.
Left that big job in my 20s to become an entrepreneur. Everyone said I would fail, but I got winner in my core.
Fantastic. So, partnered with 4 people, 3 businesses, 1 non-for-profit organization. Great people, great businesses, owners out there. Couple of young guys. 1 young guy, actually. Just 1 young guy. Very, very smart guy. Kyle, you're going places. I wish everybody the best with John, and wish you guys many, many fortunes in the future. I can't thank you enough for giving us all this experience. I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say we all enjoyed it. We all had a good time. Nobody was railroaded or thrown under the bus. He didn't make me look as bad as he could have, though. Again, there was a lot of stuff that he left out, but you can only make these things so long. If I give you my complete honest opinion, this one got a little boring towards the end. Kyle's conversation was quite long, and the last guy was quite long and bored out. I don't even know what the business was. They weren't really talking about the fundamentals of the business really the whole time. They were just talking numbers and negotiation stuff that, people, the boring stuff. So all in my critique at the end, the next season, the Partner 2, it could be a little bit more entertaining, just a little bit more excitement, maybe a little bit more, a couple different scenes, inside, outside, walking around the block. His backyard is a fantastic place to shoot content. But yeah, end of the day, thank you so much, John, for this experience and for being a customer. Could appreciate your business anymore. Good luck to you and your future health fitness goals. You've been losing weight left and right. You're looking shredded, looking healthier than ever. Make sure you guys subscribe to John Cerasani TV and Nonstop Thai. Hopefully we'll be bringing you more top quality content in the future. Thanks, guys.